The failure of the paid sick leave bill demonstrates the bureaucratic hurdles restaurant workers face. It is essential, then, that workers themselves play a role in ensuring proper treatment. Restaurant workers should make sure they know what rights they have, what rights they need, and be prepared to organize amongst themselves.
The biggest remedy is to organize. It's to get together with your fellow workers, to go and talk to your employer, to go and meet with a group like the Restaurant Opportunity Center and figure out the ways that you can pressure your employer to start paying people better.
The Restaurant Opportunity Center is a worker center, and what we are is we're an organization of restaurant workers that is dedicated to improving the industry for the workers, making it more sustainable and healthy for diners as well.
You have rights as a citizen, as a human being, and as a non-citizen, you have rights in this restaurant industry, and that's been my main focus right now, is just making sure people know that when you're in the food industry, whether you plan on being here or not, you have rights, and you have a right to be taken care of and be able to have a job that's secure and safe.
We also want workers to understand that no matter their immigration status, they do have rights. So I think a lot of undocumented workers, immigrant workers, don't want to complain because they're afraid of what might happen, and they've been sometimes threatened directly by an employer. So we encourage our clients, and we talk to all of our clients about what the possible ramifications are. We've never had an immigration issue in any one of our cases when we take a case to court. And so usually it's an empty threat by the employer trying to prevent a worker to come forward and get what's actually due to them.
Restaurant diners can also play an important role in ensuring that the individuals preparing and serving their food are healthy and able to make a proper living. Instead of focusing just on the food in front of them, diners should take note of the army of workers who collectively take part in producing a memorable restaurant experience.
What diners can do for restaurant workers to advocate for them is just, eat at places where the owner's paying higher than the minimum wage.
The Restaurant Opportunity Center has put together a guide of the good restaurants that are out there. And they try to have one for different cities. So it's not always hard to know who the bad restaurants are, but sometimes you can figure out who the good restaurants are.
We need diners to speak up, just like they did a decade ago for organic ingredients in their food and local ingredients in their food. Now those are household concepts. You can't go to a high concept restaurant in our city without having those options provided to you. We want to do the same thing for workers' rights, and we believe customers are willing to pay for it.
Better working conditions don't just benefit workers and diners. Restaurant owners who pay above minimum wage, give paid sick leave, and treat their workers well can also benefit.
So the restaurant industry is a tough industry. It's got tight margins, it has a lot of turnover of employees, and to the extent that restaurants can make themselves better employers, they will be rewarded with more loyal employees. They're going to be rewarded with employees who stay there for longer, who know their business better, who work more efficiently, who bring in regular customers.
Reduce turnover. You're going to have workers who are going to want to stay because they're going to be able to stay. They're not going to have to deal with that issue. They're not going to feel slighted if they had to come and work sick because they couldn't pay their rent.
I have had employers that they know that the restaurant industry is fairly ruthless, and that they don't think that that's a fair thing, and they do go out of their way to make sure that the employees are being treated in a fair manner. And most of those restaurants that I've worked in, it's just been an overall better experience for everyone there that works there, which translates into a better experience for the people that are coming to eat there.
Restaurants that treat their employees well also treat their diners well. They free their staff from having to worry about wage theft or working sick, allowing the workers to focus their energy on impressing the diners. But until restaurant diners, workers, and owners come together to reform the industry, many workers will continue to face the injustice of having their wages stolen or working with 102-degree fevers. Even as we wait for change, restaurant workers continue to produce memorable experiences for diners and hefty revenues for the industry. They do so for the same reason owners open restaurants and diners frequent them: their passion and love for food.
Do I find it difficult making a living in the restaurant industry? Yes, absolutely. It's very difficult. I don't think I'm the only person. I think a lot of people find it difficult.
I find that people, despite having been exploited before, despite having gone through the whole legal process, generally tend to stay in the restaurant industry.
If I'd not entered the restaurant industry, I really have no idea what I'd be doing. It's been my life for the last 5-6 years, so that's kind of just everything I know, and it's kind of how I've just learned to live my life. I would definitely say it's probably the passion for cooking and working with food that keeps me going back. But most of the people that stick around in the industry tend to have that passion for working with food and cooking, and that's really truly, I think, what keeps a lot of them there throughout all the nonsense they have to deal with that comes along with the restaurant industry.